distinguished gentleman, Keith Smith, and myself, talking real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness.
My hope is we're going to talk about whatever some folks put in the feed, because I'm actually looking forward to today. Today is just going to be a little Batman and Robin, a little bit of what I enjoy the most. Not that I don't enjoy our guests and stuff like that, but I really enjoy when it's just me and you, forgetting that the cameras are here. Or at least I forget the cameras.
And having some fun.
And having a lot of fun.
I agree. So Jamie Turner, if you're watching, Jamie Turner, let us know a topic you want to cover. Johnny Ornalis, let us know a topic you want to cover. Ray Cadell, we love when you watch the program. Let us know a topic. Marina, good seeing you the other day. Let us know a topic you want us to cover here on Real Talk. Vanessa Parkhill, Paul, what is his last name? Paul McCarter.
There you go.
Let us know a topic, guys.
I didn't watch the show on yesterday noontime. Did you talk about this?
Oh, yeah. The New York Times was the hot topic.
Yeah.
It went bananas.
What was the feedback on that?
I think most people in the city of Charlottesville are not in favor of, I mean, I'd say it's over 50% are not in favor of this.
Of the upzoning?
Yeah.
How was the reaction to the article?
The reaction of the article was pretty mixed.
Yeah.
Pretty 50-50 down the road. The Seville Plans Together team, before they started presenting to the community, should have put a brand strategy in play to how to position this strategically.
You and I are in agreement in that. I think you know.
We should talk about that.
Sure, I think we are.
And you know, Neil sent us an article about Portland and the upzoning. Did you see it this
No,
morning?
I was. After our show yesterday, I was busy getting ready for Mrs. Smith to come home. I needed to make sure that, by the way, she knew about my mishap, so I told her.
What was the mishap?
The mishap about forgetting to put the little plug in the front of the washing machine, and I thought I was a smart guy. And
well, you said it on the show when she was watching.
Did I?
Yeah.
See, there you go. That's one of the beautiful things about being my age and having attention deficit syndrome. Sometimes you forget stuff.
Welcome back to Seville, Yona Smith. You are beloved in this community, and I hope the trip up to the Northeast treated you well.
She had a great trip.
Good.
Great trip.
That's fantastic. Guys, we will start in T-minus 10 seconds. Judah Wickhauer, how you feeling over there, homie? Ready to rock and roll. Judah, let's do it. We're in your hands. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Good Tuesday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. It's the first Tuesday in August here in 2021. Markets opening red, lukewarm on Wall Street right now. We will follow that for you. A lot to cover on today's program, guys. Families returning slowly to Charlottesville. This is kind of the last hurrah of vacation. And the distinguished gentleman, Keith Smith, who you'll see in a matter of moments, Judah Wickhauer is our director. We've been crystal balling the impact of families returning, school starting, and what the impact it will have on markets. Judah, let's start with the studio camera and then welcome the star of the program, Keith Smith, to the program. I'm dapping you up, dog. Good to see you, homie.
Dapping me up.
I'm dapping you up, baby. How are you?
So I need to know what that means.
It's giving you props.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
I always give you props.
I'm learning all this new vibes. Yeah, man. You know, it's interesting. We talked about this yesterday, but the market, the real estate market, that is, not the one that you're looking at over there that's all red.
Yeah.
But the real estate market, you know, it's kind of making an adjustment, and everything that you read, if you Google and you go through all this kind of great stuff, the real estate market is starting to get a little bit balanced. I'm not saying that it's, we talked about this yesterday, it's not that it is absolutely insane, it's just maybe just insane or just
stabilizing.
It's stabilizing, yeah, that's the word.
Slightly stabilizing.
Well, it is, but you know, the bottom line is just a lack of inventory, and we've been talking about this, and there's no magic wand to fix it. You know, the thing is we know what, in my opinion, we know what's causing it. It's purely takes too long to generate new inventory to go ahead and do all this stuff. So it's just interesting. But we started before we went live because I didn't get a chance to watch the show yesterday, your noon show, is to talk a little bit about this article that the New York Times put out. So give me a little feedback. How was it yesterday?
So the show was fantastic. It was the lead of the program. The New York Times has featured Charlottesville 3 times in the last 60 days in its print and digital publication. It featured Charlottesville about the statues.
Mm-hmm.
It featured Charlottesville about upzoning.
Yeah.
That was the most recent one, Sunday edition.
Yep.
And it also featured Charlottesville as the premier place to vacation on the eastern seaboard because of the vaccination rates in Albemarle County and the city of Charlottesville. We're doing a hell of a job.
So it's interesting. You should bring that last one up. I was with a client from Arizona. I mentioned it yesterday.
A lead from the show, right?
A lead from the show, but also part of this third.
Dab it up, dog.
Thank you, buddy. Dab it up. This third. Yeah, I love you too. I just have no idea what that means, but we'll Google it later.
Someone's asking why you're perspiring on the feed right
why
now.
am I perspiring?
Did we want to touch on that? Just how about this? Some food didn't set well.
Yona
like that?
and I went out to eat. Yeah, food's not sitting well in
That's
my.
how we'll leave it.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So yes,
Thank you for asking, Grace.
Grace, thank you. Thank you.
Grayson.
Grayson, I'm not feeling well. Thank you, Grayson, for that. It was, and then I walked today from the office over here. So
I guess we could have just blamed it on that.
yeah, that would have been smart.
That would have been smart.
That would have been
He
smart.
hooked it from X Park to Market Street.
I hooks it to X Park to here, but something.
And he's always dressed well.
It's also I got whistled out on the way over today.
Whoa!
Yeah, made my day.
Who whistled at you?
A young lady whistled at me.
Okay.
Who knew that stuff is still alive?
Were they whistling at you because what you were looking at? Or were they trying to keep you from heading into the street onto oncoming traffic and getting whacked by a vehicle?
I would go with the first one.
Okay.
It might have been the second one,
Oh, gosh.
but I'm going to keep it as the first. I got a little whistle this morning.
You're looking sharp,
I
homie.
got a whistle.
It's freshly manicured, fresh haircut. Always look
and
good in the suit.
even when I'm sweating,
There you go.
I'm still doing
There
that.
you go.
So I was interested to go back to the
Arizona.
Thank
the
you.
vaccine.
Thank you for keeping me on track. So part of the reason why this particular individual, other than family, because she has family here, is because of that article.
Wow.
Yeah, because she's of an age of my age, kind of and up, and is just really concerned about infection rates. And
Sure. We all are.
This is why absolutely. This is why. And to pivot a little bit. Back to this zoning article on that. I'm curious. Was the feed, because if you read it a certain way, it kind of makes Charlottesville look a little, not saying the best light. That's how I
totally
read.
agree.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
And I was just curious because the other two topics we're talking about in the New York Times are very positive, right?
Well, yes, removal of statues and high vaccination rates.
I would say those were positive.
Those are very positive.
Very positive.
Well said.
This, I'm not really sure.
It makes Charlottesville, the New York Times in the Sunday edition this past Sunday, when talking about upzoning, painted Charlottesville, or the motif of the article was almost Charlottesville is hypocritical. That we can be progressive in so many ways, where it comes from the removal of statues,
Sure.
social justice,
Sure.
trying to recover from 8/12,
Sure.
Black Lives Matter.
Sure.
We're a progressive city.
Very much so.
But when it's come to the upzoning, according to the New York Times in this article,
We're
we
the
are
opposite.
a contradiction of ourselves because
very
a
much
lot
so.
of the community does not want it.
Yeah. So
Is that
that-
how you read it?
That's how I read it,
Yeah,
and
that's how I read it.
you and I literally have not had this conversation, and nor have I watched your show. So I was just really curious on how the local population.
Well, Bill McKenzie, you're watching. What did you make of the New York Times article?
What was the local folks taken into it, and it seems to me, my interpretation of it, and this is my interpretation.
Sure.
This is what did I tell somebody here? I'm just a guy who plays a host on a
talk show.
On a talk show.
But your opinion matters.
Thank you.
People,
Well, everybody,
seriously.
everybody's opinion matters first and foremost.
It's interesting, though, when you leave your opinion on the record like you have
Oh,
for
yeah.
so long.
Yeah, well,
2 years plus of leaving your opinion on this record.
Yeah.
And that proof of performance means your opinion matters quite a bit.
yeah, well, or I'm not that smart. So.
No, you're rarely wrong. Neil Williamson, hello.
Yeah, hey Neil. So I would love Neil's opinion on this article. To me, it looks like the NIMBYism is very well rooted. That's the interpretation I got out of it, and that as you said, we're so forward thinking. Progressive is maybe a different word that at least we're forward thinking. We're always forward thinking as a community, and that's when we say Charlottesville, we're talking about the whole region. Nelson County, for instance, is just knocking it out of the box, and Fluvanna and Louise are in this forward thinking in different categories. But it's just I'm not so sure. I felt good after I read that article.
What did you think, Neil Williamson? What did you think, Johnny Ornalis? What did you think, Jamie Turner? What did you think, Grayson? What did you think, Ray Cadell? What did you think, Bill McKenzie? The New York Times article from Sunday.
On the flip side to that is, sometimes you don't like to hear.
Maybe they're right.
Yeah, that's about to say. Sometimes one does not like to hear the truth.
That's what
Yeah.
The truth stings.
The truth hurts.
I mean, how truly progressive can the municipality, the jurisdiction, the city of Charlottesville be? Yeah, we can be social justice, Black Lives Matter, the removal of statues, a $15 living wage, social justice and social equity. Yes, we can fight against the gentrification, the evolution of this municipality into a bastion of the white and the rich. But when it comes to upzoning and creating more density, maybe there is a NIMBY mentality that's still very rooted in the city.
Well,
what do you think, Ray?
It's not the city.
That's Central Virginia.
Yeah, it's.
You know why? It's because we're fearful of turning into Fredericksburg or Northern Virginia.
But it's nationwide though. It's a nationwide thing. You see this everywhere, and I think Neil shared a great article about Portland,
We did. Thank you, Neil.
Oregon. Thank you, Neil, for sharing that information. So it's man. I think you and I can talk for 40 hours, hundreds of hours, which we have, and I just don't know if we can come to an understanding or a solution to that. I know this much. This is a real estate show.
Yep. Well, we got questions coming for you.
And I have clients, even though we just talked, the market is changing, inventory is coming up, but I have clients from all different price points, from $200,000 to something with the one in front of it, not $100,000, right? We can't find what they want.
Sure.
So why is that?
I mean, Neil Williamson has taught us more housing everywhere for everyone. You've taught me for 12, 13 years or so. We've not kept up with millennial and younger buyer demand by creating new construction. You've also taught me that there's tremendous red tape in these municipalities, city and Albemarle County, that make it difficult for the developers to come to market. I mean, Keith.
But I'm pushing
so much.
But I'm pushing it
you
back.
You know that, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm pushing it back into you, though.
Okay, please.
Because my ride. Part of the reason I'm sweating is I also rode an hour and a half this morning.
Nice.
And at my age, it takes a little bit longer to get the things.
You're still doing it, dude?
Yeah, I am trying anyway. I want to be young and good looking like you. I didn't say smart. You noticed that?
Mustache Dan Pettit says, Keith, that was Yona whistling at you.
That's right, Dan. Good answer. That's right, Dan.
Dan, we appreciate you watching the show.
Yeah, Dan's good people.
Dan, you're good people.
Good people. He's, there's nothing like a little chops busting in it.
Yeah, we like zingers.
Singers. We do them all day long. But to push them back to you,
sure.
I'm going to pivot a second.
Please.
So
you lost your train of thought.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I want to set this up a little bit. So the client I showed around for a while, for whatever reason, we hit off really, really well.
Okay. Well, you're likable.
And normally I usually ask after what this person's profession is or what did they retire from, and I kind of never did that in this conversation. And we're wrapping the day up. She's heading back to Arizona. She goes, you never bothered to ask me what I did for a living. And I went, I never thought about that. We just hit it off so well. That question never popped in my head. She goes, well, I'm a clinical psychologist. And I went, oh, so I just spent...
So she psychoanalyzed you for an entire day?
No. 4 days.
And Yona was not there because she was in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, I spent 4 days.
Because Yona keeps you a little more on your P's and Q's.
Oh, of course she does. Like somebody else does for you.
Oh, no doubt. And then you get you and I together like this, and then it's just a little loose. Yeah.
I literally spent, roughly 12 hours one-on-one with a clinical psychologist. So, of course, I said, well, did I pass? She goes,
But she wanted to come here because of vaccination rates.
Yeah. Well, no, it was one of the reasons.
Quality of life.
There's multiple reasons. Quality of life, family here. She wants to, we should bring Ali on one of these days.
Okay.
Ali is this adult learning from that UVA does.
Okay.
But that's part of what she wants to do. She wants to go and be part of the adult learning program, constantly keeping her brain moving. But to go around a little bit, back to this conversation we're having about upzoning and NIMBYs and all this stuff, back to what you said, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's just, even though we had a huge win, a couple huge wins, it beats you up, man.
Well, look, I'm going to play it for the sake of a talk show. Neil Williamson, Bill McKenzie,
it beats
Ray
you up.
Goodell, Johnny Ornalis, Mustache Dan Pettit. We love you guys. Thank you for watching the program. For the sake of a talk show, I'm going to make this statement strictly for the sake of a talk show. All right. The NIMBY mentality is not only rooted in concerns or worries of impact on quality of life, but the NIMBY mentality is very much rooted in protecting the value of the most prized investment in a family or individual's portfolio. If you can limit the housing stock in a city or a county, then the home you own, if you're fortunate to own one, is likely to increase in value at a faster rate. So supply and demand.
I would guarantee you.
For a talk show, guys. For a talk show.
Got it. I would bet you any amount of money Neil's head's about ready to explode.
Well, no, I know. And I'm saying this, I don't agree with this thing. I'm doing it for the sake of a talk show. I agree. Everyone should have a piece of the American pie. But a host on a talk show has to stimulate conversation.
Sure, totally. The reality is it's the opposite.
Okay, explain that.
The reality, when you
a lot of folks don't realize this.
But you can Google it though, right? And anybody can Google it, and you can find out that more actually increases the value of your property, not less. Well, just think about it from a practical perspective. Right. So we are appraisals, right? Just from an appraisal. So if there's more product out there, it kind of mathematically increases the value of everybody across the board. We had a conversation yesterday about gated communities, right? Gated communities are increasing. There's a lot of increasing in folks moving into them. There's a lot of reasons why for that. Everything from this is where the lots are. Right so you're smiling.
Well, their comments are coming in. People enjoy what they're hearing.
So I'm not prepared to quote chapter and verse on that, but I'm sure Neil with his fast fingers can probably put something in the chat that proves this thing. But it does increase.
He actually already asked.
There you go. Yeah. It actually does. It increases everybody's value. It doesn't decreases everybody's value. If we don't, look.
Here's a perfect example.
Let me get this thought out for a second. So
sorry.
I get it's like ADD. What happens to your business if it doesn't grow?
I mean, if your business doesn't grow, you have to grow every year.
What happens to your checking account if it doesn't grow?
Yeah, you have to grow every year.
Yeah, so this is not really that different. So if the market overall grows, now doing it smartly, doing it right, if you grow your business or you grow your home finances or whatever, you do it smartly. You just don't go willy-nilly going out without a plan or anything like that. So it has to be done smartly. Go ahead.
A perfect example.
I hope that made sense.
That made sense.
Okay.
A perfect example that's the antithesis or opposite of the statement I made that was strictly to stimulate conversation.
Got it.
I believe everyone should have the opportunity of home ownership, and for us to make that happen, we're going to have to create more housing stock in Central Virginia, no question about it. Now, I'm going to stipulate very quickly, we must consider infrastructure
Sure.
when we're creating additional housing stock.
Sure.
Infrastructure and housing stock have to go together when being considered. But a perfect example of additional housing stock driving values for existing homeowners is in the neighborhood I live in. Stanley Martin, which we talked yesterday on the Monday Market Monitor.
Well done.
The Monday Market Monitor.
Literally.
Presented by?
Yes Realty Partners.
No.
Yes Realty Partners.
Okay.
I literally.
Presented by Monday Market Monitor?
by Yes Realty Partners.
Who else? And who else? Okay.
What are we doing here? Do we know what we're doing?
No, the Monday Market Monitor is presented by Yes Realty Partners and Closure Title and Settlement Company.
Yeah. Yes Realty Partners.
Yeah. Okay. So
we're on the Tuesday show, Jerry, not the Monday show.
Right. Okay. Understood. All right. So this is what I'm going to throw to you. Got it. Okay, now I got it.
We got it. We're on the same page.
Now we're on the same page. This is the first show, Keith. I'm trying to cross-pollinate. All right. So this is what I want to throw to you, my friend.
Cross-pollinate. Okay.
That's good synergy, cross-pollinate.
Yeah.
Is Stanley Martin in the neighborhood that I live in,
sure.
East Town in Keswick. We love Stanley Martin. They're building new construction. They're creating additional housing stock.
Guess what they don't have left?
And that additional housing stock is priced high because it's new construction. It's priced fairly for the market,
Sure.
but it's priced from an average standpoint in the neighborhood a little higher than the average. And it's driving up
Sure.
the values for all the other existing
So that's going to
homes.
plateau.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's an example, though.
That's an example of
Yeah.
more housing increasing, also fun. So exactly right. I think just to play devil's advocate to that, the pushback is if I'm building something at $1, right? I own something at $1, and you build something at 50 cents. That draws the dollar down, and it does not draw the dollar down. It actually draws the 50 cent up, and it actually helps you go up. And I don't know which link Neil put in there, but I suspect that's the synopsis of the conversation.
Stephanie Rhodes, hello.
Hey, Stephanie,
We
how
love
you
you,
doing?
Stephanie.
We love Stephanie.
On Real Talk, and we love Interstate Service Company.
We do very much so. Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend. Look at
Home's
that.
best friend.
There you go.
That's a fantastic tagline, isn't it?
It
A
sucks.
home's best
It's the worst
friend.
one ever.
No, that's not what you're supposed to say about the presenting sponsors, even if it's tongue-in-cheek and a joke. A home's
I'm just
best
trying to give you a hard time.
is Interstate Service Company, a perfect solution
They
for all
know.
the realtors
They
watching the
know
show.
we love them.
Yeah.
We know they
I
love
mean,
them.
I very much love the family and the
Yeah,
business.
good people. Damn good people.
So let's get to comments.
Well, before we do that,
Okay.
I want to get back into this infrastructure conversation you
Okay.
and I had and I don't know if I did a good job explaining it yesterday on the traffic scenario versus the missing middle, because that's the terminology I prefer to use instead of upzoning, but the upzoning and the missing middle. In the conversation, I sat down and had a cup of coffee with a very respected traffic engineer on one side and the head engineer for VDOT on the other, talking about a particular project. And the way they explained it to me, and I'll see if I can do a better job at it. The way they explained it to me is that this buyer, right? This $200,000 buyer, this 150, this 250, 225. Let's call that the affordable housing buyer price point. Is going to Buckingham. You can't even go to Lake Monticello right now. Lake Monticello's in the 280s, creeping up to 300. So this is getting pushed further out, and these folks are driving into town from Buckingham, from the other ends of Louise, or so forth and so on, about an hour. Now, if you take something in Belmont, this is the way they explained it to me, and it made sense to me. If you take something in Belmont and you turn it into a duplex or a triplex or a quad or whatever it is, just from a traffic perspective, that same traffic is on the roads. You're not increasing population. Now, if we have a lot of increase, but that was their rationale. So that driver, instead of driving 1 hour in, is maybe only driving whatever, but something around 60% of the people that live like in UVA and go from Belmont and all this stuff, they would end up taking mass transit, Matthew Gilligan's rad electric bike, which I sent them some cool info.
I saw that.
Info this
Yeah.
morning. I love the heck out of that company. Or they walk, like I did from Studio X to here.
Well, I mean, okay.
But that was his explanation, and it made sense to me.
I understand what you're saying, but if you, let's.
So I don't think it increases What it will do, though, is maybe increase some of the traffic on the side streets, and that may be a true factor.
Okay,
But on the arteries, it doesn't change the
let's be
volume.
realistic.
Okay.
Okay, be very realistic here. Okay. If you increase density in the city of Charlottesville that's landlocked, it's 10.2 square miles.
Got
We
it.
have nowhere to go but up
Yeah, got it.
or upzone by creating more housing stock.
Sure.
You're going to have more traffic. If you bring more people to the
I'm not sure,
municipality,
you know.
you're going to have slightly more traffic.
Yeah,
From an infrastructure standpoint, it's going to crowd schools if additional schools are not built. This is just
that's a different conversation.
straightforward, common sense stuff here.
That's a different conversation. I was focusing purely on traffic.
Yeah.
I'd have to lean on the traffic engineers, but, you know.
Okay, it's from, if you add more people to a city, it's going to add more congestion with public transportation. It's going to put more pressure on public transportation.
Sure, that I agree
It's
with.
going to make CAT have to be more legitimized and
Well,
reliable
it needs to get better.
and robust. It needs to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a public transportation, and we're not knocking anyone, but CAT has seen much better days. Charlottesville Albemarle Transit.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's close to being bankrupt.
we're
CAT.
50,000 people, right?
You don't
The
think
city
we
is-
don't have the density to do
You
it.
don't have to. That's the other flip side to that. You don't
That's a
have.
fair point.
You don't have the density to it. You don't have the volume of folks to do this. So you're trying to run a world. We are a world-class city according to what the city council says. But run a world-class city, but you just don't have the revenue to do it. Now maybe our taxes can go up, and maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know the answer to that. But somebody's trying to put a Seattle type of mass transit system into a 50,000 person city. Now, we're more than that. We're 300,000. But just think about that. There's 250 of the 50,000 live outside the core of the city. They're driving in anyway. And that's the point of this engineer. They're all coming in anyway. So if you were just to say nobody from, well, I think it was the city of Paris actually just did this. If you did not have a certain a permit on your vehicle, you couldn't drive into certain centers of the
It's
city.
an interesting concept.
Yeah, you have to. It's Paris and London is actually doing that.
That's a smart concept, actually.
Yeah. So what you'll do is you have
You throttle traffic.
correct. So you would have to just take.
That's actually a clever concept.
Yeah, well, they've been doing that for a couple of years in certain cities. I think Barcelona started it first. I may have some. I know for sure Paris is doing it. Maybe Barcelona was first. But what they'll do is they make you park. If you're going to drive in, you have to take mass transit to get into the core of the city, or you walk, or you take they open up special bike lanes, and they're literally shutting down. If you have a two-way lane, one way is for bikes, one way is for cars, that kind of thing. So there's going to be a lot of that outside of the box thinking that you're going to have to do. But we're only 50,000 people.
Well, let's throw this here. Multiple people. Bill McKenzie, I'm going to get to your comments now. Neil Williamson, I'm going to get to your comments now. I got comments coming in, text messaging.
Did I
And
just
on
get fired?
Twitter.
Did I get fired from somebody?
No. Multiple people. Neil Williamson, can you give us this exact answer? When, if the upzoning is approved by city council, we know elections matter. The election in November, 2 seats are open. You got to think Wade and Walker are the front runners there. Pinkston, perhaps, certainly in the mix.
It'll
But
be
you got to
close.
think Wade and Walker are front
It'll be
runners.
close.
After the election in November, when will this upzoning be determined, decided, and become a reality? If it does, can you give us a ballpark, Neil?
So we're picking up what we talked about yesterday,
Yeah.
right? So when will actual product go in the ground? When will people actually be able to
To
start?
knock down an R1 single family and build a do, tri, or quadplex?
Well, if you read that article that Neil sent, it actually is, which I can tell you from a build-to-developer perspective, it's easier to add on than it is to tear something down and go on. If you took a look, because that was the ROI article they did, they took a look at what the ROI was gonna do. It was a pretty neat article. Hold it, no, I might be mixing up something that I read on out of Seattle.
Yeah.
Different company, different article.
I think, okay, so let's get to the comments. Neil, if you can give us that answer,
Might be
that
the
would
same. It might
humongous.
be the same one.
Bill McKenzie, on the article.
It was the one from Sightline, right? Neil. I believe it's a Sightline.
Okay, this is from
article.
Bill McKenzie. On the article, the mixed reviews from people of color were telling.
Yes.
One person felt her voice did not count.
Yes.
Most folks felt it would further gentrification in the city of Charlottesville. Personally, I feel it will degrade neighborhoods. Bill McKenzie continues, I don't want this theft of property rights in anyone's backyard, and I have been hearing counselors for years talk how Seattle does this, and Seattle does that. So that's from Bill McKenzie.
Yeah.
This is from Neil. The New York Times article correctly identified change is hard, but more inclusive housing policy efforts are making inroads. Hashtag more housing everywhere for everyone. Neil shares a link from the Free Enterprise Forum. We love the Free Enterprise Forum on the I Love Seville network. And we love Neil Williamson and his affinity for Paul's Deli in Williamsburg. I love that too. He says, if a project is meeting the community-vetted comprehensive plan designated density, who should be responsible for funding the infrastructure?
Yep.
The new home buyer or the community at large? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are great questions. Bill's a great question, and that's a comment anyway. The reality of it is both of these things are wrapped around this education component. Right, and getting folks in there. I've seen this work. Okay, let's forget about the name of the city. I've been in cities where they've done this, and it was, in my opinion, it was done well. My youngest daughter lives in the neighborhood that, if you were to pull Belmont out and drop it into the city that she lives out west, it looks exactly the same. Okay. Same time it was built, same everything that was built, and what happens is you don't go down the street and have 15 quads on one street, 15 quads on a lot of these houses you would drive out and you didn't realize from an aesthetic perspective that there was an ADU in the back or there was a second unit in the back of the house. You never knew it, that it was there because it kept the character. And part of that is also going to be about how they, to go back to your question for Neil, I'm going to step through that a little bit. A lot of it is this comprehensive plan thing is very visionary, right? Then you have to get into the rules. Then you've got to get into the the rezoning component of it. Then you got to get into the subdivision portion of it on, hey, you can't have a mass that looks like this. You can't have a mass that looks like that. If one house on the left looks like this and one house on the right looks like that, you can't put something in the middle. There's all kinds of myriad of rules that you have to comply with, which minimizes the number of units that can be built drastically. So there's ways to control that or encourage that, maybe is a better choice of words on that end of it. So the thinking of is you and I going to walk down and buy one set of street and turn them all into quads, if that's what Bill's thinking, and I'm sure it's not.
Let me ask you this question. Will the upzoning changes, this is a really question, okay, because there's a lot of layers to unpack with what I'm about to ask you. Will the upzoning changes expedite gentrification and evolve neighborhoods that are historically African American into very different versions of themselves? The last affordable pockets of real estate in the city of Charlottesville, and they're quickly becoming unaffordable.
They are unaffordable.
10th and Page, Prospect, Orangedale, and Fifeville.
So I'm going to flip this around with you. You think it's going to stop?
You're saying regardless of the zoning changes, why is it the gentrification happening anyway?
It's going to happen anyway. Unless something happens.
That's a good counterpoint.
To prevent that. It's going to happen. So let's twist it around a little bit. Rezoning, right? I don't want to get too in the weeds on stuff, but let's talk about rezoning. There's a parcel, you and I are going to do this, we're going to rezone it, we're following the comp plan, we're following yada, 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 yada. We fail. For whatever reason, NIMBY's come in to fail. We're just going to go in and do it by right.
Yeah.
Right? So it's gonna get built.
Yeah.
Gentrification is happening now.
So Bill, that's a good one for you there, Bill. I asked that because you mentioned gentrification there.
So it's going to happen no matter what. So how do you, if we come up with, and this is just my personal opinion, right? This is, what did you say? For the sake of a talk show.
For the sake of a talk show.
Talk show, right? So let's wrap this rezoning conversation around this upzoning conversation and try to put them together a little bit. So what's the benefit from a person who lives in the neighborhood about rezoning? You have some influence on that. You may think you don't, but you actually do.
Of course.
You have some influence on that, right? There's the developer has to meet certain requirements because the government, through this process of upzoning and rezoning, changing and subdivision ordinance changing, have created rules to go ahead and do this, right? And more strict rules. And then if you throw an SUP in there, special use permit in there, then the elected body can put conditions on the person or entity that's doing it.
I'm with you.
So there's control there. There's ways to control the outcome of it. It's, some people may not like that, but that's the reality of it. Versus none. I just go do what I want to do, right? And I take this land and I cut it up into a bunch of whatevers and sell them for whatever. There's no impact. You have no involvement or participation in the process. Does that make any sense?
That makes perfect sense. Let's get to comments.
Sure.
Bill McKenzie
But I like
says-
Bill. Bill's contributing big time.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, Bill.
and he's engaged, dude. This
Yeah,
guy's
without doubt.
watching city council meetings.
Yeah,
He's
yep.
writing to council. He's
Yeah,
engaged.
yeah, well,
He said,
he's-
I could potentially.
He's a way smarter guy than I am.
I could potentially be in a quad sandwich.
Potentially.
Quadplex sandwich.
You could
This
be.
would drive up my land value. For a fixed income person, this may drive me out of my home.
Because of taxes.
That's what he just said.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
This will drive up my land value, and for someone on a fixed income, this may drive me out of my home.
And Bill is doing exactly what Bill should be doing.
Yeah.
And Bill is
He
engaging
and his
and
wife.
participating, and he's having his opinion heard, and he's reaching out to that, and that's what you have to do. And because of Bill engagement and others, and I want, it's disheartening to sit here. You like that, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
I stayed up all night thinking about that
job.
word. I don't know what it means, but I think I used it right.
You used it very
Did I
well.
really? There
Yeah.
you go. Yay, Keith. And I'm not even sweating anymore. Look at that. I'm on a rhythm. You influence decisions. People influence the process.
He said Keith's exactly right.
Get engaged.
Due to taxes,
Yeah.
the city
Yeah.
changed my land values 2
Yeah.
years ago
Yeah.
by grouping Melbourne Place with Foxbrook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're empathetic to his plight.
I'm empathetic to his plight. It's a chicken and egg thing, right? How do you make an omelet? You're gonna have to break a couple of eggs to make an omelet. So, but what you have to do is be engaged, and Bill's being engaged. Get your opinion made and all that stuff. And he knows. I know Bill's a sharp guy. He knows if he gets his, the rate may go up, but if his tax assess is a little bit out of what he thinks is, you can contest that. Most people don't know that.
Oh, yeah, you can contest it. And it's not that difficult
I
to
do
process.
I do it every year, and
Yeah.
I win every year.
And also there is tax relief for individuals on fixed income.
That's exactly right.
And the retirement portion of their lives, something also to consider, Bill. Neil Williamson gives a timeline of when the upzoning could happen.
Good.
This is extremely important for
See
anybody
if
watching the show.
Mine matches his.
Okay, this is extremely important. The Seaville Plans Together upzoning process. The fabulous Neil Williamson, president of Free Enterprise Forum, one of the partners of Well Hung Vineyards. Neil Williamson,
And him and Sean, a regular occurrence on our show.
a regular contributor to Real Talk.
Good word.
One of the stewards of Central Virginia, Neil Williamson. Neil Williamson, one of the key
Okay.
members of
Read
Green
the
Hills
damn-
Golf
read the
Club.
damn- read the damn
I love
comment.
you, Neil
Read the
Williamson.
damn
All
comment.
right, he says this. Gentlemen,
Oh,
I added the gentleman.
oh.
Okay. I think he said dumbasses.
Did he say dumbasses?
No, he didn't say dumbasses.
No, that'd be about right.
He didn't say dumbasses. He says, my estimate is the zoning ordinance will be acted on prior to November 2023 elections.
Oh,
If delayed, it will be a huge campaign issue for those 3 council seats. I then responded on the feed. So, will this get done before Snook Lloyd, McGill Cena, and Payne Michael are up for re-election again. He says potentially he thinks right before, in the summer, before a November re-election. And then he says, and because of the way Charlottesville elects council, a new majority could be in place by January 2024. He's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, I think he and I are going to have to take a bet on that. I don't think that's going to, I don't think.
You think it's before?
No, I do not think the rezoning changes will make it before the election cycle starts.
Okay, so this is extremely important. What you got Keith Smith here and Neil Williamson, two people in the know. November of 2023.
So you can't use, go ahead. I'll let
November
you
of 2023, 3 seats are up for re-election. Lloyd Snook, that dude's not going to run again. I do not think Lloyd Snook's going to run again. Cena McGill, if you're reading the tea leaves correctly, Cena McGill's not going to run again.
Okay.
Just tea leaves, worn down.
Got it.
Michael Payne, he very well could run again. His primary source of income is being a Charlottesville city councilor, Michael Payne, and he's a young guy.
So
He very well could run again. Those 3 seats are up for re-election. Keith Smith is saying that this decision will not be determined till after the November 2023 election. So whoever is voted into office in those 3 seats, they determine the majority on a 5-person council and could determine the future of upzoning in a process that's been years in the hopper.
So
Think about that. That's crazy.
got it. So the reason, I hope I'm wrong.
You
Right.
hope it's done before.
I hope
Because of the institutional memory.
I hope I am wrong.
Well, as a realtor, you see the potential in the upzoning, and you know Payne,
Well,
McGill,
yeah,
and Snook are likely going to vote yes on
I'm
this.
taking my.
Okay.
Well, I once was told I can never take my real estate hat off, but for this case, I'm taking my real
Is that
estate.
Donna Patton who said that?
No, I think it was yesterday.
Oh, it was. That's right.
Yeah, Nikki said that. For the sake of a talk show,
Yes.
here's the reality of it. If this is not voted on, approved, I'm talking about the zoning ordinance, by this time next year. So the election crazy cycle is going to start for 2023
I
November.
mean, some candidates have already announced.
Well, that's in Albemarle County.
Okay.
I never understood why.
Steve Harvey has as well.
Okay, I did. Okay, well there you go. Let's focus on
Okay, all right.
Charlottesville.
Steve Harvey, yours truly.
Let's keep Smith focused
Okay,
here.
sorry.
That's-
Yes, QB. Yes, QB.
Keep Smith focused. That was an inside joke. Not so inside. I think we talked about
Yeah, we
this.
talk about it all the time.
We talk
It's
about
not
it
an
all.
inside
It's
joke.
not an inside joke anymore. But here's the reality of it is, right? So if we're in agreement that we probably have at least three candidates running for 3 seats. In other words, we're going to have an opposed election in 2023.
Yeah.
An opposed election.
What do you an opposed election?
That means somebody's running against somebody that's currently in the seat. So all bets are off if the 3 folks that are running announce, but nobody's running against them. Again, this is why elections matter.
2023, 3 seats are up for grabs. Lloyd Snook, Cena McGill, Michael Payne.
So if they announce, and they have to announce by, help me out, Neil.
The January of that year.
No, June. This year was June 7th. It's somewhere in June.
Okay, you're right.
They have to
Totally right.
announce. So whatever let's call it June 1 for the sake of a talk show.
Okay.
Right?
So June 1 of 2023.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So less than 2 years from now. Not that far.
Correct.
I mean, not that far. We're talking 21 months.
Correct. So if we don't have this all done, locked in, and voted on by that point, it's going to get kicked. It's going to get kicked. I don't know. I just, how long has it been taking us to do the comp plan?
Forever.
I don't know. I hope to God I'm wrong. I'm hope to God that regardless of what it looks like, it gets, the next step goes very efficiently. But it's a public process. Guys like Bill, guys like Neil, guys like you and I, folks like Nikki, Yona Smith, everybody will have an ability to participate in this. The zoning component is the real issue. Comp plan is just a freaking vision, right? Which is a beautiful thing. Everybody needs a vision. You need a vision and a business plan, right? You write a business plan, the first thing you start of, hey, what's my vision? But the zoning ordinance is the law. It has the force of law. And that process, could take that long. I think it will, actually.
Neil Williamson, who on council, Charlottesville City Council, is pushing to have the zoning changes? Absent the urgency, Smith will be right about council kicking the can down the road.
Yeah. So
explain what he just meant there.
Yeah. So he's right, and that's what I'm a little bit.
Payne is pushing this.
It,
Michael Payne is pushing this.
Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Before he started on council.
Yeah.
A guy who lives on a fixed income.
I think the world of Michael Payne.
Would you not say he's very much in favor of this?
I'm lucky to sit on a couple of commissions and boards with him.
Yeah. Payne is pushing this.
But I think what Neil is trying to say, and I may be wrong, right? So there's some good things going on here, and I had lunch with Chip Boyles the other day.
City manager, and sharply dressed, love Chip Boyles.
I love Chip to death. Thanked him for all his hard work and gave him some kudos. The council has seemed to somewhat coalesce together a little bit, but what Neil is trying to say, it's better than what it was.
Well, you know why they're coalescing?
Okay.
Do you know why?
No,
I mean, you obviously know why.
But
you just don't want to say it, and your Robin's going to say it.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
But I know you know why.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They're coalescing because it's an election year.
Okay.
Have you noticed?
Of course.
Okay.
Well,
and I'm choosing my words carefully.
Sure.
The individual on council that is often the one that is offering a little bit of friction.
Sure.
Is the mayor.
Yeah.
That's safe to say. I'm not speaking out of turn. Since she announced that she is running for re-election, it's been 100% radio silence on her Facebook page.
It's 180. She's done a 180.
It's a complete 180
Yeah.
since she's announced that she's running for re-election.
So I've been doing this for 35 years. I've probably seen the same amount of oh boy, I can speak English.
Elections?
Election cycles as Neil.
Election cycles.
As Neil. Okay. Maybe not, but maybe close on that end of it. And to brand them all that it's an election, I can't speak English, election cycle, that everybody's behaving because of it. I can tell you I know more cases where they're not, where the boards, it's not an uncommon thing, what was happening in the city. All you got to do is look at these surrounding jurisdictions. Right now, they're all kind of playing well together, but that's not historically the case. I can tell you, I can speak firsthand in Fluvanna County. For quite some time, there was constant conflict between board members, very similar to what was happening at the city council. I know it in Louisa County. I know it. Green's always been kind of stable on that end of it, but some jurisdictions, they do that. If this jurisdiction, the city of Charlottesville, 5 elected officials, all can get on the same page, they all got to be on the same page. They all got to be thinking the same way and acting the same way. They can get this done. If not, just elections matter. These 2 new board members or city council members that come in may have different opinions than the remaining 4 or 3, excuse me. That's this many, right? Remaining 3 on that end of it. I just been around the block a little too much. They gonna have to, this board and the one that's gonna get seated in 2022, the new council, is
2 seats open this November. Walker, the incumbent, is running again.
Yeah.
Heather Hill is not running again. The short list is Yaz Washington, Nakia Walker, Juan Diego Wade, and Brian Pinkston, who are running for 2 seats. Our crystal ball, or if we were betting men, and occasionally we are, the I Love Seville odds makers have Juan Diego.
That's Liza the dog. She's the bookie. She's the bookie. She's under there keeping it.
We got Bruno upstairs.
We got Bruno.
With the chalkboard. He's in the green room right now. The I Love CVille
I would take Liza's odds
over Bruno. Bruno, he'll crack your skull if you don't pay up. Bruno, the odds maker for I Love CVille, has got Juan Wade, a 2-1 favorite.
Yeah.
Got Nikhil Walker, a 3-1 favorite. Got Brian Pinkston,
Yeah.
5.5 to 6-1 favorite. And Yaz Washington, the long shot at 20-1.
So Neil's not going to like this comment because elections matter, and he, he likes to see contested.
Everybody does.
Elections, but in Albemarle County, you actually have a chance of moving whatever agenda it is. Whatever Ned's agenda in the Albemarle County's Board of Supervisors, you got a better chance of getting some of whatever that particular item.
Don't say it. Of having institutional memory and candidates who run unopposed. So from one election cycle to the other,
looking at it
they can follow through on what they're trying to do.
I'm looking at it purely from a practical perspective, right? So pivot back to the city.
It's demoralizing that 3 spots are up for grabs on Albemarle County's Board of Supervisors. McKeel, Galloway, and Liz Palmer.
It's not.
None of them are running against anybody.
It's not just
Liz
that.
Palmer's not running for re-election. The good doctor's replacing her, but there's no challengers here.
It's not just Albemarle County. Fluvanna County is the same thing.
It's not good.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
For the sake of a talk show, I'm just giving a counterpoint out there.
Yeah.
There's somebody could look at that and say, okay, we've got some consistency here, right? And they may be able to move along. And I'm
Candidates matter, Neil said.
Candidates matter. They do. Elections matter. I absolutely do. I mean, my district, I live in Fluvanna County. It's run unopposed.
Having no opposition.
But we're going to help
local
that.
Government creates a monopoly of policy and thinking, and a monopoly of policy and thinking is no bueno for the municipality. A good example of a monopoly, Dominion Electric.
Sure.
We do not want the Dominion Electrics.
You said that with such a smile on your face.
Dude, I'm a free market guy.
Yeah,
so are you.
Yeah, I get it.
Competition is good for everyone.
I get it. I don't understand why in North Carolina, if you have solar, you actually get money back. And in Virginia, you don't with the same company, Dominion. Go figure that one out. In North Carolina, you actually get a check.
Your boy, I did not know that.
Yeah, you actually get a check.
Andre Xavier has this to say.
Hey, Andre.
He says, great conversation. Really appreciate the knowledge.
He's one hard-working dude.
Oh, he's a smart guy.
I thought I put a lot of things, and when you take a look at all the things he does, man.
You're legit, Andre. We love you on this show here. Affordable housing in the city of Charlottesville is a utopia, Jerry and Keith.
Say that again now?
Affordable housing in the city of Charlottesville is a utopia, Andre Xavier says.
So
it is not going to happen. There is too much demand and money. Affordable housing will be available further and further from the city. That is our reality. You know what, Andre? I have a tendency to agree with you on that.
So I'm going to give him an example not.
Okay. Go ahead.
Took $140,000, the land trust took $140,000 cash through my relationships that I set up between Stanley Martin, the Albemarle County. We produced and we're closing on next week a couple more. We have put 7 affordable housing buyers into Spring Hill, which is on the tip where 20 and Avon connect at the end of that part of Albemarle County. We put in $2 million worth of product in the ground for $140,000. We put 7. I'm just telling you, look, it's 7.
Yeah,
it's not 700.
I'm giving you props.
It's not 7 million. But thank you. It's my favorite thing. I'm going to hide that effing thing one day.
I respect your efforts.
But my point is, it got there because we brought everybody together at the table. Earlier when we were talking, that's what I was saying. It's demoralizing. You put all this time and energy in it, and
affordable housing, and you are a champion.
I'm trying anyway.
Of affordable housing.
I'm trying.
Keith Smith is one of the true, authentic warriors for affordable housing, and you are. Yeah. And he's being humble here, which is rare. Yeah. Okay, you know it is. You know he is.
I'm a kind of a humble guy. This stuff I don't like.
This
stuff I don't like.
I was a singer.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to help.
The efforts are not keeping up with the free market.
Oh my God, no.
The efforts are not keeping up with this Zoom town that Charlottesville's become, Albemarle County's become. The efforts are not keeping up
So here's the
with
positive end of it.
baby boomers flooding here.
So here's the positive of it.
Please.
Right. So just to put a simple explanation to it, what we're doing is we're doing what we used to do when I was building. We're passing contracts over the closing table, right? It's too complicated to explain on a talk show. But we've created something that is expandable, is scalable. I just got a phone call yesterday to somebody who wants to sell a house in Belmont to the land trust, and we're negotiating a price that we're going to buy that at 60 to 70% under value, because this person wants to do the right thing, and we're going to turn around and flip it. This is a flip it to an affordable housing buyer. We're going to retain the owner of the land for the cost of $20,000 to us. Because the way this thing is structured. So it's expandable. We can do it, but you're 100% right. It's just like, it's like standing. I watched a video. You ever see this 100-foot wave thing on I think it was Amazon that did it. It's about a guy that surfs these 100-foot waves. Just goes around the whole world looking for these 100-foot waves. It's like that. You've got these 100-foot waves, and you're trying to do something. And these 100-foot waves are just beating the heck out of you. But you get up and you keep on doing it again.
Yeah. Okay, so you're catching some resistance here.
I probably would.
You're catching some resistance here.
So is the show over yet? Look at that, 11:15.
You'll appreciate it, though. It's respectful resistance.
Oh, yeah, sure, of course.
Andre says, I respect Keith Smith so much.
Good man.
And I love the land trust.
But
affordable housing is not
Yeah.
$200,000. Affordable housing is $130,000.
well, that's actually not true, but that's okay.
Mustache Dan Pettit. Keith is doing a great job with Stanley Martin, but it is a Band-Aid
Yeah,
for the total people who need affordable housing in this area.
Yeah.
Grayson, affordable housing is not a reality in Charlottesville. We are landlocked, we do not have enough homes, and as long as people want and love to live here, affordable housing is a pipe dream.
So one of
There's more.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in a rezoning.
Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. I
mean,
took
it's
notes.
the same.
I took notes. Go ahead.
Nicholas Erpy, free market,
Sure.
free market. Exactly what we need, the free market. Laura Kraling, if anyone thinks affordable housing starts with a 2, they're not living in today's reality. So many of us make $15 an hour or less.
Yeah.
No one at that level of income can afford a home with a 2.
Oh, look at this. I'm getting phone calls too. So I'm going to go to that too.
I can keep going.
Yeah.
Show's yours, sir.
Yeah. So let's talk about affordable, the term affordable.
Okay.
And I appreciate that. One of the things that I'm trying to do and have been trying to do for 3 years, and I'm coming off after this year on the Regional Housing Partnership, is to define that. So what we just heard was the term affordable means different things to different people.
Yeah.
I have an affordability problem. I can't afford the house that I want. That's an affordability problem. So the thing is how do you define that? And it means different things to different people. So the 2 in front of it is based on a 60 to 80% area median income. The one that has a 1 in front of it.
But the devil's out. Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish, please.
Okay, sure.
So the one that has a 1 in front of it is in the 30 to 40 to 50% area median income. There are programs out there. There are entities out there. I'm focusing on the land trust, which we're built between the 60 to 80%. I really prefer the term workforce housing than affordable housing for what the land trust is doing, right? Habitat, if you take the time to dig into it, Habitat's wheelhouse is in the 30 to 50% area income. When you go below 30%, then you are in subsidized housing, which are pretty much all government-run programs. So I'm not, the land trust has a very, what is this? Not a silver bullet?
Silver buckshot.
Silver buckshot.
Who said that?
Robert Liberty out in Portland State University.
He's come on the show.
He's come on the
We
show.
love that guy. We should get him back on here.
We will. He's a dear. I'm trying to get him to fly over here. But the Real Talk budget doesn't quite cut it, government. But so it's a great topic to talk about. It's just there is no one answer, right? What's affordable to you and affordable to somebody else, it has a whole different thing. And I hate the term affordable. We've just gone to the point of using that, and it's a catch-all.
I'm going to throw this to you here.
I hope I did a decent job.
You did a great job. The area median income
is insane.
Thresholds and percentages are tremendously skewed by the obscene wealth in the area. So 60 to 80% of area median income is skewed because of the top end wealth on that thermometer.
Sure.
30 to 40% area median income is skewed because of the top end wealth on that thermometer.
Sure.
I'm going to throw this to you.
It's $93,000.
Is what? Family of four? Household income?
No, that's the median income per household.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Family income.
Correct, household income. They do it by household income. And as you have more folks, that number drops down, and I'm trying to find it here.
Derek Bond. Love you, Derek Bond. Love you, Derek Bond. Restaurateur and entrepreneur. Derek Bond, a fantastic operator. Derek Bond. He says, encourage businesses other than retail in this area to help solve this dilemma.
I would agree with that.
Well said, Derek Bond.
So 80% one-person household is $52,000.
Okay.
This is 80%.
Yeah.
No, so as you go down, that number goes down. I'm only have it at 80%. Two-person is 60. Three-person is 67. Four-person is 74. Five is 80, and it works its way up. Going up to, this goes up to 8-person, which is 98,000.
I'm going to pose for the sake of a talk show.
Oh, God.
This is for the sake of a talk show. This does not necessarily mean this is how I feel.
I have
this
a meeting,
is to stimulate discussion. No, you can go. You enjoy this.
You know
your Tuesdays.
you know my calendar better than I do.
And I can tell you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Yeah, and you love this stuff.
I do. I just.
And we've forgotten 2 minutes into the show that we're on cameras and there were mics.
I've forgotten.
And
Look,
I
I stopped
shooting the shit.
I stopped sweating.
Yeah, you enjoy it. I truly enjoy it too.
I just want to be careful with my words.
You should be. You got a lot of,
yeah, I don't.
And this lives forever on the internet.
Well, you know, I'm comfortable in my Keith suit, but I just don't want to. I hope my words don't come across offending anybody on that end of this stuff. And when I mean the term affordable housing means different things to different people, which is a struggle, right? That's a struggle that I've been trying to wrap my head around on try to help discuss that. Somebody will listen to that and say, one person at $52,000 is an insane amount of money. It's high. That's a lot of money, $52,000. But these things are run by and governed by what the HUD, housing. Oh, God, I forgot what HUD stands for. Come on, help me out. I lost it. But anyway, the federal government, HUD, they set these criteria up.
So I'm going to paint a picture for you for the sake of a talk show. Andre says affordable housing should be factored in to the $12 to $15 per hour range. That's the unskilled labor
Yeah,
pay.
sure. Got it.
So I'm going to paint a picture for you. This is only for the sake of a talk show. This is not what I do not believe this. I'm doing this to stimulate conversation. Let's say we allow the free market to play out. The invisible hand of the free market is a tricky beast. She's not going to be stopped. Okay, so we allow the free market to play out.
Particularly in the state of Virginia, because it's a property rights state.
Exactly. It's a property rights state, and it's, for the most part, an anti-union state.
And it's also a Dillon Rule state.
And it's a Dillon Rule state, anti-union state property. So you got a lot of things that are putting tailwinds behind the free market. So here's the scenario that I'm going to paint. You allow the free market to play out. Charlottesville becomes the epicenter of the region. It already is. Charlottesville becomes this bastion of wealthy individuals, likely to be white. The affordable housing, as Andre Xavier, as Mustache Dan Pettit, as Bill McKenzie, as so many have said on the feed so far, becomes in the outer county region.
That's where it's going.
It's where it's going. You're talking Waynesboro, talking Fluvanna, you're talking Louisa, you're talking Orange, Gordonsville, outer county region. That outer county region gets momentum. and gets the positive impact of thousands, if not 10,000s of people moving to those respective jurisdictions because that's what they can afford. Those jurisdictions then get tremendous tax base that comes from real estate, retail, dining, and people living out there. The Fluvannas, the Orange, the Louisas, the Greens, the Madisons, the Waynesboros, they win in this setting. They get more people, they get more buyers, more sellers, more tax base. Charlottesville also wins because the people that live in the outer counties drive to Seville, where they find their employment, often working for those that can afford to live here. In that scenario, what is the fatal flaw?
You know, there's probably 1,000 of them. You know, there's all these landmines that you have to navigate through this. Look, I'm going to pivot a little bit and answer it a bit of a different way.
Okay.
Going back to the conversation we had before, gentrification is going to happen. Unless something absolutely disastrous happens that impacts this region negatively, UVA just disappears, right? Something drastic happens. This trajectory is just going up. It's been going up as long as I've been here since 1987. It is not coming down because of this article and that article and this, that, and the other thing. So gentrification is happening. Prices are increasing. You have to increase the product. I'm just a simple guy doing a simple thing. It's a simple supply and demand. You have to increase it to try to stabilize that a little bit. But I'm going to pivot a little bit on this stuff. The same client we were talking about moving out from Arizona can't find what she wants. She's just looking for a 2-bedroom apartment close to downtown Charlottesville. I can't find anything for her to rent that doesn't have a 2 in front of it. 2,000 in front of it. 2-bedroom apartment. She has to be able to park a car. She wants to preferably, only walk up one set of stairs because of her health conditions and all that kind of stuff. I can't find that. Do you know how much house you can buy? I haven't had a chance to do the numbers. I was trying to do it when you were talking. But for $2,000, first of all, $2,000 a month is insane. It's insane. But, a $300,000, or we're talking about this too, and if I was smart enough, I could rattle off some numbers, but I can't. But if you look at a $200,000 or $225,000 house at today's interest rates.
The mortgage on that's like $1,100 a month.
It's about $1,100, $1,200. Yeah. Well, yeah. You got to figure your taxes and insurance. That's what I was trying to do quickly.
And whether or not there's an HOA. I'd say it's between $1,100 and $1,200.
$1,100 and $1,200. You can't rent anything for $1,100 to $1,200. But if you drive someplace else, now you have driving costs in front of it and all that stuff. So about this 2 thing, interest rates are helping that out a little bit, but this is just.
So you never answered my scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing that we should say is in the scenario that I just painted, you'd have no diversity of people.
I would agree with that.
In the scenario I painted, you would have a hierarchy it would further the class hierarchy.
It's happening anyway. Both of those things are going to happen anyway. So let's try to impact that a little bit. So to go back to the free market comment, I'm a free market guy.
I know you are.
Big time.
I know. He's a competitive guy. He's an entrepreneur.
I'm a free market guy.
Serial entrepreneur.
Love the free market.
Yeah.
Really do. But don't you think government has something to do with it today? We just had this conversation.
Government has something to do. Well, I mean, you could make a legitimate argument that the Federal Reserve,
no,
putting the interest rates where they are causing this housing crisis.
Yeah, I'm not going to unpack that one right now.
Okay.
But the way I was going with this was the current. I'm kind of rolling ourselves back to this missing middle rezoning comp plan thing, right? If the argument is let the market take care of itself, right, and keep government out of it, government's always going to be in it. It's in it, and it's in it by the tune of years. We talk about this all the time: red tape into green tape. So if we rolled on to a lot in Belmont, assuming you can find one, you've got to follow rules and regulations. The government is involved in it. You have to do.
Well, here's the crazy thing.
Erosion.
You taught me this. Albemarle County, and I have a client he knows as well. That's a builder and a developer. If you build a home in Albemarle County, you taught me this.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to learn. If you build a home in
You also
Albemarle,
read a lot, too.
yeah, a lot of stuff that you're setting. Neil too. If you build a home in Albemarle County that's $400,000,
That's nationwide.
24% of that
Yeah.
$400,000,
Yeah.
24% of the $400,000 is tied to government mumbo jumbo, red tape, paperwork, policy, and bureaucracy. Not the lumber, not the stove, the granite,
All those things.
not the
fluctuate.
roof.
Yeah.
It's paperwork and red tape.
Yeah.
24% of a home.
So roughly 100 grand, round numbers.
That right there is how
Yeah.
the government can make things more affordable.
Absolutely. That's where we do this red tape, green tape. But my point I'm trying to make, again, for the sake of a talk show to bounce things off back and forth on it, government's in it anyway. That's not what that $100,000 is. It's there.
Yeah.
That's not free market, right?
No.
That's the government doing it. Now, let's paint a different scenario. Some of this stuff is good. The Chesapeake Bay Act is good. We used to own property down on the Eastern Shore. We've been going down there since 1987. I can tell you the water in the bay is a lot better now than it was in 1987. That's because of a lot of these rules and regulations. But it's just gotten to the point of the extreme, right? Where I'll give you an example. I volunteered my time to help build a firehouse out in Fluvanna County. They reached out to me and said, look, we need some help. And so I volunteered my time to help them go through the rezoning process, the site plan process, and all that stuff. Just to go through this is a little 1 acre parcel of land. Just to go through to build a parking lot and a new firehouse for Lake Monticello so we can serve our citizens out there. Just the DEQ permit, the Department of Environmental Quality permit, took me 9 months to get.
That's ridiculous.
9 months to get. And you know how I got it? I put on this suit, drove to Richmond, and sat in the guy's office until I got it. And I was going, hold it, time out. This is for life safety, right? And the bureaucracy is such that it took 9 months to get a permit. Now, the mistake I made is anything that goes over an acre has to go to Richmond. I should have tweaked the plan a little bit. So
Made
it
it
was
like 0.99.
0.99, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't fit everything we needed on under an acre. That's what has to change. And if you change that down to a few months or 30 days or 60 days, and to talk about the way the process works, right? They send you comments and you send it back. And the stupid stuff, hey, this mathematical equation is wrong, this whatever is wrong, this typo is wrong. They get another 45 days review. Then it gets back to you. And there's another change. So they don't give you all your changes at once. They just kind of eat you up in these small little changes over and over and over and over. That's what needs to change. And that was a conversation I had with Chip Boyles, by the way.
Chip Boyle, city manager, Charlottesville, one of the sharpest dressed guys in the area. In fact,
Love
I'm
it-
going to say,
love it when he
you know what,
wears
I'm going
his-
to I'm going to tag him.
Tag him. I love it when he wears his.
Chip Boyles, I'm saying Chip Boyles. What should I say to him? We are giving you some props. Giving you some props, right?
Get
right
a job.
Now. You are,
He wears his seersucker
yeah,
suit.
sharpest dressed dudes in Central Virginia. I just put that in the feed
Well,
right
let's
there
say
for the city manager.
Let's say city manager in the state in Virginia.
No, I want to say we're giving you some props
Yeah,
right now,
he's-
Chip Boyles. You're
he's
one
a
of the
good man.
sharpest dressed dudes in
Had
Central Virginia.
had a great lunch with them yesterday.
All right, so comments coming in.
All right.
A lot of them.
And I've got a headache, so this is going great.
A lot of them. Johnny Ornelas, owner of Guadalajara and El Mariachi.
Well, he went through this red tape experience.
El Mariachi is amazing. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys have not been to El Mariachi in Zion's Crossroads, you're missing one of the best and most delightful
I sent-
Mexican experiences that I've ever enjoyed.
I sent the client out there on
Go to El Mariachi.
Sunday. They feedback they loved it.
Get the queso appetizer, get a margarita, spend some time with Johnny and Steve. It's A+.
Always there. Steve and Johnny are always there. They welcome you.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Good family.
fantastic operators.
Good family.
Johnny says, question, why do rents go up if housing prices go up? Does something change in pricing with the current owner of apartment or home taxes or something else that impacts the rental pricing to go up as well? I'm curious.
So that's supply and demand. Yona and I about ready to buy an investment rental. We're intentional. We're blessed enough to do it. We're intentionally keeping it at at a price point that we can afford to do it, and do that. But that's what's happening. It's market driven, right? Just like there's not enough houses, there's not enough rentals, right? There's not enough purchases, not enough rentals. And I'm not a rental expert by any stretch of the imagination, but that's what it is. It's supply and demand.
I think I might have one of the lowest price rentals in Southside Charlottesville and Albemarle County.
Ours will be a little
in
bit
the
below.
Mountain View. Are you in the Mountain View School District?
No. I don't. Yeah.
Mine's 1510.
Yeah.
$1,510 a month. It
Yeah.
goes up 4.75%
Yeah.
every year.
We'll
And
beat
dude,
you-
we had a
we'll-
line out the door.
Yeah. We'll be. we haven't released it yet because I'm painting it and doing a bunch of work to it, but we'll be below that number.
Mountain View School District?
No.
Is it in Albemarle County?
Yes.
Where's-
Urban Ring.
Urban Ring? That's all you want to say?
Yeah, that's all I want to
Okay,
say. At the
fair.
moment.
That's fair.
We haven't closed on it yet, so.
Lonnie Murray.
Mhm.
Lonnie Murray's come on the I Love Seville show. Lonnie
Yeah.
Murray, you're legit.
Oh yeah.
I think form-based code is one of the best ways of reducing that regulatory overhead without sacrificing good design, Keith.
Yeah. So let's define, and Neil should jump in on this because he's an expert on this. There's two terms that get kicked around a lot. Exclusionary zoning, because that's what we've been talking about, right? So there are rules and regulations in zoning that exclude things, right? That's what the term exclusionary zoning, from my interpretation of it. Excuse me. Form-based code is a pretty complicated subject to talk about, but the essence of form-based code is that the jurisdiction, and this is what we've been talking about, the jurisdiction creates these rules, right? So this is what, and I'm sorry that I bring up the West all the time, but the reality of it is housing issues always go from west to east. I don't know why it is, it happens on that end of it. So what they have done in these Western jurisdictions is they said, here is your list of items you must comply if you're going to build an affordable housing unit on this. This is what you get. And there's 30 boxes, 50 boxes, 500 boxes, whatever they are. And you have to check all these boxes. So that's, in essence, and Neil may disagree with me a little bit. I'm trying to simplify it a little bit, but that's what form-based code is that the jurisdiction has made a determination. If you meet all these items, it's automatic approval. It's an administrative approval. It is not. It's not a political. And that's part of the problem here. All these things go through this political process, which is a good thing, right? Because Bill gets involved in it, right? I get involved in it. You get involved in it. But if you develop a form-based code, and I believe Albemarle County's tried that and just really couldn't everybody get on the same page. Neil knows a little bit more about it than I do, but
Bill says this. When Glenmore was developed,
I remember it. I was there.
he built the first home in Glenmore.
I literally built the first
Bill,
one.
he built the first home in Glenmore. He says when Glenmore was developed, the homes were $250,000 and up.
I remember it.
Now look at them.
Yep.
Now the homes are trading with a number with an 8 in front of it.
Maybe even more than that.
Yeah. 8 up.
But you got to remember, I told this story to somebody.
When was that? Late 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Frank Kessler?
Yeah, Frank Kessler, yeah.
Okay, so you're
I think
talking-
92. I can't remember when it started, but I know I built that
Let's
house.
call it 90.
90.
So 31 years, it's gone from
And I-
250K to call it high 8s.
And I will tell you, the
early
house I
9s.
built in the 1990s had a 5 in front of it. But it was custom. Real big custom.
You remember 250Ks in there?
I don't remember
$250,000?
250. I'm not going to doubt Bill on that.
He said he's been around here since 1963.
Yeah. Bill would know then. I just don't remember 2s in front of it. I remember you used to have to pay like 10 or 15 grand to join. That I remember on the join, because you had to join the thing.
That's not part of the HOAs.
It used to be.
Oh, it used to be.
You used to have
Where
to.
if you were going to live in the neighborhood, you had to join the
You
club.
had to join the club, right?
I wonder why that changed.
Probably because they didn't have enough people
Yeah,
coming.
because they wanted to sell some homes as
wanted
opposed to
sell-
country club memberships.
They wanted to sell some lots.
Yeah.
At the time, is what they wanted to sell.
and they didn't want a barrier of entry.
They didn't want to. They didn't want to barrier to entry.
Nick says in regards to the
Nick.
20 Erpy.
Okay, hey.
The Erpies are watching.
Cool.
Emergent Financial Services.
I'll tell you, I had so much fun.
I texted Alex afterwards, dude. It was a blast.
Because we don't have anybody online for Friday. I almost was going to see if they're interested in it. But
Alex, Nick, Michael.
we had a lot of fun.
Xavier, the fabulous Mrs. Erpy.
The boss.
Emergent Financial Services. You want to grow your wealth.
Yeah.
Emergent Financial Services.
Well, so let's talk about that because this is kind of wrapping together a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the essence of the conversation that I was trying to get into was that you don't have to walk in with a $50,000 check. You don't have to walk in with that. You can walk in literally with nothing, and these folks will help you build a plan to grow your retirement. And I know I've been there with them. Been there.
Here's what he says. Excuse me. I really enjoyed this show. I really enjoy spending time with you. We made the comment about nationwide. If you take a $400,000 home, 24% of the cost of that $400,000 home, or basically $100K,
So we have to quote the source on that.
is tied to red tape or municipality policy and paperwork. The source,
Is the National Home Builders Association.
National Home Builders Association, very reputable source. He says, that's not even including the dead weight loss, the opportunity cost that pushes people away from building because of that 24% cost. It hits taxes and regulations. Under talked about is the dead weight loss.
Yeah.
The dead weight loss. And he says, thank you for sourcing National Association of Builders.
So I'm wrapping around because it's just a recent conversation. This client I had from Arizona, and I guess maybe I'm a little bit intimidated that she was a clinical psychologist. But she kept on saying to me, because we were trying to find something that meets her needs close to Charlottesville, single family detached, single level, a little bit of land, not a lot. You just have to go out to find it. And she kept on saying, well, why ain't anybody building it? Why ain't anybody building it? One is the regulatory requirements, this $100,000.
Yeah, that's bananas.
But here's the other reason. Even if I was in the game again, physically in the game again, I couldn't do it. The carry cost.
Yeah, the debt service. He's calling debt service.
The debt service, the carry cost, to sit on something for 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm helping a client do something in Zion's Cross, in right next to Lake Monticello, and we're in year number 6, and I don't even have a site plan approved yet on this stuff. Now, he's fortunate enough to be able to carry it because he doesn't have to carry it, right? Because it was a cash purchase. But the opportunity cost is lost. This thing has been sitting there. But more importantly,
the opportunity cost in a nutshell is what this individual could have done with the money instead of just sitting on it paying debt service.
Well, that's that latte factor calculation,
Exactly.
right? Where
So what if this guy took the $500,000, $1 million, and invested it to the market, and as Alex and Xavier, as Nicholas of Emergent Financial Services have taught us, 7% return, which is conservative.
Yeah.
You take that million, you get a 7% return every year, instead of taking that million to buy some dirt and having to deal with some municipality tell you when you can actualize and realize that dirt into an opportunity that makes you money.
So it's not municipality; it's all the way across the board. It's from the federal government, state government, so forth.
Government.
So across the board. Yeah. So he's fortunate enough to do that. So the problem with that is let's get a little personal. Let's paint me.
Oh, I don't like when you do this.
Well, it's the truth though. So
Okay.
I think it helps people understand this, right? We got caught. We lost an obscene amount of money on that stuff. Didn't lose what was important.
He was the developer.
It was a development, it was important. But it took me 6 years to get to the point of saying, yes, I'm going to do this. And I leveraged, because I didn't have cash, that $17 million worth of cash on me. I leveraged all that stuff. But what happened in the 6 years? The market changed.
Yeah.
I was already committed to the money, already had the roads built, already had product going in the ground. I was stuck, right? So what's happening, the people that are in the game now are only people that have huge pockets.
Yeah, big-time players.
That can say, okay, well, I'm just going to sit back and let's wait on it. The small to medium guy is just not in the market any longer, and that was my explanation to her, because she goes, well, why can't somebody just do a little 5-lot subdivision? Well, first of all, to do that, the brain damage is ridiculous. The cost is ridiculous. We'll bring in Christopher Bringmet to talk about his Shamrock.
Christopher Bremett.
Bremett, thank you.
Bramante Construction. We love Christopher.
His Shamrock project
I'll tag him.
He's on. I helped him buy that project and move it forward and move him along a little. Now, COVID actually helped him, right? But he needed that to be finished for last August, students. He's not going to even make it this August because of regulatory problems at the city at the last minute on that end of it. And it's just his carrying cost is just moving him along and is eating him alive up to the point where, guess what he's doing? Raising rents. So there's a cost there to everybody across the board for that.
Bill said he was a custom cabinetry business and was designing and installing them in Glenmore when the neighborhood launched.
Oh, we need to get together. We used to own a cabinet company, Bill, way back when.
Yeah.
Name of the company was Newhouse, Kitchens by Design.
So he was in the custom cabinet business. 11:45.
Oh, really?
Wish we can continue. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I really wish.
Well, for a show that I walked in and said I had zero topics for today.
One of these days, we should just take the real talk and just go straight into the I Love CVille show.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
My brain can't handle that.
Where you go real talk all the way to the end of the I Love CVille show.
What, you trying to kill me here?
I'm just saying, there's more comments we're not getting to.
Yeah, so what do you have on at 12:30?
Alex Erpy.
Oh, cool, Alex.
Yeah, Alex Erpy.
Well, I would love to do that, but you know, look, I can't tell you how I'm literally getting chills right now about to say how honored and it's just that to what you're reading off of that. I don't believe people are actually listening to me. It's just I'm just honored to sit here and have this conversation and do this. And who the hell wants to hear from me?
You're a smart guy, man. You've been through
yeah.
Been there and back.
I told somebody the other day I bought a bunch of PhDs in my life.
Dan Pettit, great show. Nice to see Jerry wearing a coat.
Oh, he wore one yesterday, Dan. Give my buddy Jerry.
Daniel Pettit, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, he's down at the beach, I think.
I'm going to say thank you, homie.
Homie.
Homie, H-O-M-I-E, not H-O-M-E-Y.
That outfit actually suits you well.
Thank you.
I could not.
One of our favorite stores.
I could not pull off a T-shirt jacket. I'd have to have
yes,
a
you
color.
could.
Nah, I couldn't do that.
You could pull
Maybe when I was 30-something I could, but not at almost 60.
Pull it off. Keith Smith, guys. Keith Smith and Jonas Smith. Did you guys see what he is about? The honor and the character and the integrity. This is where I'd have to do some talking, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy
I'll check my emails.
This guy is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And if you need some guidance, a North Star, a compass to navigate one of the most difficult decisions of your life, buying or selling your home, I cannot speak more highly of Yes Realty Partners and Keith and Jonas Smith.
So one of the
just fantastic people.
One of the first things that, and I actually learned this from Michael Guthrie. I've always did a version of this, but he actually helped me with this years ago, about 8 or 9 years ago. One of the first questions we'll ask you is, do we have permission to be honest? Now, we're always honest, but what I mean by that is, do I have permission to tell you something you may not want to hear? And it's interesting when you do that, everybody's eyes just light up. Please, please, we
That's what people want.
It's amazing how many people, it's amazing how many people crave that now.
Yeah, that's what people want.
I mean, it's funny. They really crave that, and I don't know if this is
how we run our business.
I don't know if it's something to do with that they got their faces stuck in the phone. I don't know what it is, but you can see their eyes light up.
Andre Xavier, this kind of conversation brings true awareness to our housing issue. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to discuss it. Please know how much your work is appreciated, Keith. Don't ever stop your fight.
Thank you, brother. Well, I'm a jarhead. I don't know anything better than that. But I'm going to give for anybody who's watching this, go on to his Facebook page, right, and click on the About tab, and see what this dude is doing, man.
Patch Brewing Company. I can't wait for Patch.
When is that going to get open? Do you know?
I don't want to speak.
Okay, got it.
I don't want to speak. Got it. Patch Brewing Company, guys. Gordonsville's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah. Real Talk.
Thanks, man.
Yes, Realty Partners. Real Talk Intrastate Service Company, a home's best friend. Intrastate Service Company. Guys, if you've been in business 50 plus years and you're family and locally owned, you're doing something right.
So if you're watching, if you're listening, do yourself a favor, get on the Facebook page, and on the bottom is all our sponsors, right? We don't shout out enough to them, but these are key folks in the housing process. Please reach out to them. You know, if they can help you in any way, just tap in. Everybody from Scott Morris to Charles Bill Tucker, Charlesville Settlement, you know, all the way across the board. And Dairy Market, actually, we went there for dinner, Yona and I, last night after I picked her up from the train. So, yeah.
Props.
Thanks, bro. Thanks,
fun.
man. Yeah, I didn't expect to.
It was fun. These are the best ones.
I was squirming a little bit. I don't know if you noticed.
The best ones when you come in, you know, and you shoot from the hip.
Well.
And we see what folks want.
Yep, that's what I was hoping to do today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It worked out.
Enjoy your show today, man.
Thank you. For Keith, for Judah, my name is Jerry. This is Real Talk presented by Yes Realty Partners, an interstate service company. The Isle of Seville show is up in 45 minutes. Alex Erpe, CEO of Emergent Financial Services. Guys, thank you for joining us and watching and listening. Truly grateful.
Take
care.
So are you serious about that? Moving into